YouTubers, Liver Flush Man here. Today gonna talk to you about if you do the liver and gallbladder flush and you get liver or gallbladder stone stuck in the bile ducts, either the small hepatic bile ducts, the smaller ones, or the big common bile duct. Typically stones that get stuck in the smaller bile ducts will cause more pain because the stone, they're more fragile, they're smaller vein-like capillaries, and they, if a large stone is in there, the stone is trying to go through and it's stretching the canals in there, so you're gonna experience pain. And I must say, I did a liver flush a couple days ago, and I had a stone for the first time stuck in my bile duct for about 2 hours. And it was quite painful for about the first hour, to the point that my whole back was pain, and it was hard to sit up, and it was very painful. So what do you do if you get a stone stuck in your bile ducts? Which there's risk in life with everything, including driving your vehicle, riding on an airplane, mountain climbing, whatever, riding your bike, anything. There's always risk. That doesn't mean you don't do something just because there's a risk. People that fear they may get a stone stuck, the chances are quite small of getting a stone stuck. And if you do, there's things you can do, and I'll talk about those. And so some of those things you can do, the main 3 things that you can do are: take more Epsom salt. Why? Because Epsom salt dilates the bile ducts and relaxes the bile ducts. So it relaxes and dilates the bile ducts, so that if the bile duct expands, that stone have a better chance of passing through. That's also why Epsom salts are used in liver flush protocols as well, as a safety precaution and to allow more stones to pass through. So another ingredient used in liver flush recipes is the niacin, vitamin B3. Niacin, vitamin B3 also dilates the bile ducts, and so of course the same thing, the stone will have a better chance of passing through the bile duct if it gets stuck. Another third thing you can do is do another coffee enema, because not only does the coffee enema dilate the bile ducts, it also stimulates the liver to release and produce more bile, which is the bile is what moves through the bile ducts and causes more pressure to build up, pushing that stone through. Alright, so those are the 3 major things that you can do. I'll go through them again: Epsom salt, and niacin B3, and the coffee enema. Now I did a video on research. I did a liver flush, got stones out, took 3 liver stones, put them in a glass jar, and added apple cider vinegar to do an experiment to test how much does apple cider vinegar dissolve liver stones. And what happened, it took, when they were completely drenched in the apple cider vinegar, it took about 5 to 6 hours for the bile and things to start dissolving and coming off the stones, and softening the stones and dissolving, actually coming off the stones. If you want to see that video, just type up apple cider vinegar dissolving liver stones test, and then I did a control experiment as well. Well, first I must say, after about 12 hours, so much of it was dissolved. It was amazing. So it does take a while, and if you think about it, if you just drink shots of apple cider vinegar, it's not like the stones are being drenched in apple cider vinegar the whole time. Some gets in there and such. So realistically, it helps a little bit, and of course every little bit counts. So it does something, and apple cider vinegar has amazing properties for the body in general, and helps the liver as well. So it's the malic acid content in the apple cider vinegar that allows for the dissolving of the liver stones. Then my control experiment I did was with water, and after 15 hours in water, none of the stones dissolved. But what they did do was soften the stones, which is just as important. So if you are experiencing pain with the stone being stuck in your bile ducts, and the pain can extend all through your stomach, even feel like it's in the intestines as well as your back. There could be pressure in your brain. Pain could go to other areas of the body. Generally, it's around the same area. And so drinking lots of water, plenty of water, will also help soften the stones. So take apple cider vinegar with water and drink that, and then also put Epsom salts with water, and keep the Epsom salts going. Alright, like maybe 1 tablespoon of Epsom salts in a glass of water every 2 or 3 hours for maybe 8 hours or something. So you do it 2 or 3 times, glass of water with a tablespoon of Epsom salts if you have a liver or gallbladder stone stuck in the bile ducts. You can take the niacin, a couple times, 3-4 times at 100 or 500 milligrams, because this is an emergency. You got to get that stone out. You got to unblock it. So then do the coffee enema as well, and so apple cider vinegar, water, Epsom salts, niacin, coffee enema, and potentially too you might want to take maybe 1 or 2 more ounces of olive oil if you feel your liver has already digested the oil, and it's already later on when the oil has already gone through you, and you don't feel like you're going to throw up oil, or you basically digested the oil already. That way, that'll give an extra little squeeze with the liver and produce more bile and get the pressure to build up. But don't take the olive oil first. Take the Epsom salts and the niacin and the coffee enema and wait an hour, and then take some oil, and then that way you want to dilate those bile ducts before you cause the liver to squeeze and the bile flow to put pressure on that stone and cause it to go through. So I did all those things, and after about 2 hours the stone completely passed, and I felt great. And I didn't really panic. I knew I was going to get that stone through. And partly too, you can just focus, close your mind, and breathing is really important. Deep breaths are going to get that liver pumping, and it's going to allow. And then visualize that stone and those bile ducts squeezing and pushing that stone through as well. So in the rare cases that stones do get stuck, which they do happen, probably 1 in 100 flushes, like I had done over 100 flushes and never had a stone stuck, and then got a stone stuck after about over 135 plus liver flushes. I finally did get one stuck, and that flush that I did get out stones was I got out a lot of stones, because I hadn't done a lot of liver flushes in the recent few years. So the more toxins are building up, and stones keep getting produced. So to be a stone-free liver, you gotta be on it. You gotta be doing regular liver flushes throughout the year. Even 1 or 2 a year is great, and that's most people, that's more than enough. That's going to be great. And the people that are really into cleansing, and they've done the raw food diet and such for a while, then they may have more consciousness to do more liver flushes, and more of a desire to do more liver flushes. So that is about it on the stone. Oh, also one more note: you could take Chansapedra herb as well, because that also softens, breaks up, and dissolves the liver stones. And as well, one more other product I would like to mention is orthophosphoric acid, as well malic acid powder. But I mean, all these things that dissolve liver stones, they do something. Of course, like I said, a little bit, and every little bit counts, but ultimately what you want to do is dilate the bile ducts. That's going to do more than dissolving a stone, because these stones, as done on that test, it takes hours and hours of concentrated right in the malic acid, orthosphoric acid, whatever, malic acid powder, whatever it be, for the dissolving. It can take days and days to actually have enough of effect to dissolve it. Whereas, you know, you don't want to be experiencing that pain for a long time. So it's more, like I said, the three most important things are Epsom salts, niacin, and the coffee enema. And then after doing that, waiting an hour, take another 1 or 2 ounces of oil to cause more pressure and bile flow. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for if you do get a stone stuck in your liver and gallbladder bile ducts, in the common bile duct, then that is what you want to do. Thanks for watching. I'm Jordan Blakey, the Liver Flush Man. See you next time.